Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we will discuss very basic concepts of Unix permission. So first, we will discuss how Unix permission works, and then we will try to troubleshoot a issue on Unix permission. So all the examples that I'm going to show it here, it's for a NFS share, and that NFS share is only being created for the purpose to mount it on a Unix. So there is no concepts of multi-protocol. It's just a Unix share which has been mounted on Unix server. So before we start, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to get notification about more such videos. So let's start. So I have a Unix server here, and if I execute df-h, then I will see a NFS export is mounted with names exports. Now, first let's understand how Unix permissions work. So if I will do ls-l and then the mount point name, it will list out all the contents inside this export. So just we will focus on the first line itself and try to understand how Unix permissions work. So first of all, this one is a directory called D1, and here we can also see D, that stands for directory. Now the three triplets are here, that is triplet 1, triplet second and third triplets. So Unix permission is also called as triplet permission. Some people call it as a mode bit permission. So different people has different name for it, but the concept remains the same. Now the first triplet, that is RWX, that you can see it here, it's for the owner, and in this case root is the owner. So root will be able to read, write and execute on this directory. It's kind of a full permission. Now the second triplet belongs to the group, or we can say the primary group of the owner. In this case, it's again the root. In your case it may be different, but the concept will remain the same. Now the second triplet that is here is read and execute. So whoever members are part of this group root will only be able to read and execute on this directory. They will not be able to write anything. Similarly, the third triplet is for everyone. So apart from the owner and its primary group, any other users comes under everyone. So anybody who can log into these systems comes under everyone. So they will be able to read and execute. It means they will be able to go inside the directory, they will be able to read the content of the directory or any file, because they comes under everyone, and for the third triplets everyone has read and execute permissions. So whenever a user logs in to the system and try to access the mount points, first it will check whether that user is the owner or not. If it is the owner, then it will compare the triplets and it will allow the respective permissions. And if that user is not a owner, then it will check whether that user is part of the group or not. If the user is part of the group, then it will compare the second triplets and provide permissions accordingly. And if it does not belongs to the group, then it will consider it under everyone, and it will check the third triplets and allow operations based on the permission that it exists. Now root is the owner here, so definitely it has full control. Now let me show you one troubleshooting part. So let me switch to a different user called John, and now let me try to go inside this NFS export. So I am able to go inside this export because, as we discussed, John is not the owner, not a part of this group. So it comes under everyone, and everyone has read and execute permission. So I can list the content, I can go inside any directory for here, and I can come out of it, and I can read the files as well. Now if the user John try to create a file, it will get permissions denied. In this case, file exists because T is already there. Let me give a different name here, T1, and here we can see we get permission denied because everyone has written execute permission. It does not have any write permissions. Now, if you want to give permission to John, what are the ways? The first ways is that give the permission RWX. It means the full control to third triplet, that is everyone, but definitely that's a security concern. Everybody will be able to access these exports in that case. So that is not the solution we want. The second feasible solution would be to modify the group permission. So the second triplet permissions we can modify it to RWX and add the user John to the root group here. Now, usually in most of the scenario, root is the most privileged user account, so you don't have to touch on that because of security concerns. So you can find out which other group John is part of and add that particular and change the group ownership for these directories. Now, how you can do that? You can just execute id John and it will tell you that John user account is a part of a group called again John. So what you can do, you can modify the group permissions, and in order to do that you can execute command chown root is for owner and the second part would be for a group. In this case it would be John, and you can specify the export mount point names, and if you want to execute it recursively then give -r. Now I got permission denied and operation not permitted because I am inside this mount point with account John, so I will have to switch back to root here. So let me do that and then I can execute the permissions. So let me again execute that permissions chown root colon then the group name and then the exports name, and we wanted to do it as recursively. Execute this command, the group ownership will be changed. In order to verify that, do ls-l and then mount point names, and here you can see that now the group ownership has been changed from root to John. Now, though we have changed the ownership, still John will not be able to access the directories. Why? Because the group permission still remains as read and execute. So in order to change that, you'll have to execute the command chmod 775 and then the mount point name. Again, if you want to do it as recursively, then you have to execute this, and once the command is successfully executed, once again if you will execute ls-l exports, here we will be able to see that read write execute permission has been given to the group called John. Now if I will switch back to user John and go inside this mount point name and try to create a directory called D3, then it will allow me. And if I will execute the command ls-l, we will be able to see the directory D3, and now the owner is changed to John and the group remains as the John. So whoever creates the file, by default Unix will consider that as owner and the permissions will be applied there. Now if you have any other users, for example if you have a user called Harry, and if you want to give permissions to that, what you just have to do is that add this user to the group called John, and if you will switch with Harry account and try to create files or try to create directories, then you will be able to do that. So that's all for this video. Hope you have understood the concepts on Unix permissions. So it's not basically for NAS shares. It's the core concept of mode bit permissions or the Unix permission, how it works. So if you have any questions or any comments or any feedbacks on this topic, then feel free to comment in the comment section. And once again, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for getting notification on new such videos from my channel. Thank you for watching.